Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Julius Nairi, CBPM, UNIA-ACL, Division 421, Atlanta, Georgia, mass meeting. Today, our topic will be the Emancipation Day speech from Marcus Garvey. It was read on January 1st, 1922. And then this is our word from Garvey. He says, for over 300 years, the white man has been our oppressor, and he naturally is not going to liberate us to the higher freedom, the truer liberty, and the truer democracy. We have to liberate ourselves. So we can now start with the pledge to the red, black, and green. Hold on, I don't think I gave a date. I just realized that. Sorry. What is the date? It's January the 8th.
Yeah, today is the 8th.
Okay, yeah. It's January 8th,
Juarez's birthday.
5:23 p.m. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. You wanna if we have time, you can say a few words about them if you would like whenever we finish with the topic.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We can now start with the pledge to the red, black, and green. Please repeat after me. I commit my body, mind, and spirit
I commit my body, mind, and spirit
to the protection, defense, and security
to the protection, defense, and security
of the red, black, and green.
of the red, black, and green.
I dedicate my life
I dedicate my life
to the redemption of Mother Africa
to the redemption of Mother Africa
and the liberation of us scattered Black children.
and the liberation of the scattered Black children.
I accept for myself and my descendants
I accept for myself and my descendants
the teachings of universal African nationalism
the teachings of universal African nationalism
and promise that our children will be instilled
and promise that our children will be instilled
with the purpose and knowledge of themselves
with the purpose and knowledge of themselves
as African people,
as African people,
in order that the cause of our struggle
in order that the cause of our struggle
will neither falter nor fail
will neither falter nor fail,
until all Black people are free and united
until all Black people are free and united
through one God,
through one God,
one aim, one destiny.
one destiny.
Race first. Thank you. Okay.
Africa for the Africans.
Africa for the Africans.
Those at home and those abroad.
Those at home and those abroad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. We're going to, let me do the guidelines quickly. Our meeting is divided into two halves. The first half, we focus on a topic related to the organization, and then we'll give everyone a chance to speak and ask questions. And then the second half will be member share, which is about an hour and 30 minutes mostly. Be considerate of your time. Do not go over when you have the floor so everyone get a chance to speak. We will have some days marked and set aside during this year that you'll be able to give any presentations that you would like to give. So if you have something that's longer than 5 minutes, then you are welcome to take one of those days. Keep your phone on mute when you don't have the floor. Have a pen and paper available to to take member contact information or to make notes over what we spoke about. There will be people on the call with different ideas and religions. It's okay to disagree, but let's not become disrespectful. Ladies, do not give out your personal number during the call. Give out your business number or email, and do not use the N-word during the call. I'm going to pass it to our president, John. So if you have a few words and want to do roll call.
Thank you, First Lady Vice President. I'll say my words later. We'll just go to roll call for now. Right now, and I gotta get I forgot to get the conference line up, so I got to get that going. But right now we have myself, Brother John, President. We have member 177, First Lady Vice President, Sister Tania. We have member 172, Brother Dr. Shams out of New York. And we have member number 449, Brother Art out of Virginia. So right now we have four members on the call.
Thank you. Hold up. Sorry about that. I got off the page. Accidentally hit the wrong button. Oh no. Oh, you got it up anyway. All right.
Yes.
So let's start with the Emancipation Day speech. It says speech delivered on Emancipation Day at Liberty Hall in New York City on January 1st, 1922 by Marcus Garvey. 59 years ago, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring 4 million Negroes in this country free. Several years prior to that, Queen Victoria of England signed the Emancipation Proclamation that set at liberty hundreds of thousands of West Indian Negro slaves. When West Indian Negroes celebrate their emancipation on the first day of August every year, the American Negroes celebrate their emancipation on the 1st of January every year. Tonight, we are here to celebrate the emancipation of the slaves in this country. We are the descendants of men and women who suffered in this country for 250 years under their barbarous, a brutal institution known as slavery. You who have not lost trace of your history will recall the fact that over 300 years ago, your forebears were taken from the great continent of Africa and brought here for the purpose of using them as slaves. Without mercy, without any sympathy, they worked our forebears. They suffered, they bled, they died, but with their suffering, with their blood, which they shed in their death, they had a hope that one day their posterity would be free. And we are assembled here tonight as the children of their hope. I trust each and every one of you, therefore, will realize that you have a duty which is incumbent upon you, a duty that you must perform because our forebears who suffered, who bled, who died, who had hopes that are not yet completely realized, they hope that we as their children will be free, but they also hope that their country from whence they came would also be free to their children, their grandchildren, and great grandchildren at some future time. It is for that freedom of that country, that motherland of ours, that 4.5 million Negroes, as members of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, are laboring today. This race of ours gave civilization, gave art, gave science, gave literature to the world, but it has been the way with the races and nations. The one race stands out prominently in the one century or in the one age. In another century or age, it passes off the stage of action and another race takes its place. The Negro once occupied a high position in the world. I'm sorry, I got to get the door. So, um, 1 second. Let me, I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay. Okay. Look, I'll read that paragraph back over. Okay. Come on. You gotta go in there and watch TV till I'm doing my meeting. Okay. All right. Okay, let me get back to it. I'm gonna go back. This race of ours gave civilization, gave art, gave science, gave literature to the world. But it has been the way with the races and nations. The one race stands out prominently in one century or in one age, and in another century or age, it passes off the stage of action, and another race takes its place. The Negro once occupied a high position in the world, scientifically, artistically, and commercially, but in balancing of the great scale of evolution, we lost our place, and someone other than ourselves occupied the stand we once had. God never intended that man should enslave his fellow, and the price of such sin or such a violation of heaven's law must be paid by everyone. As for me, because of the blessed past, because of the history that I know, so long as there is within me the breath of life and the spirit of God, I shall struggle on and urge others of our race to struggle on to see that justice is done to the Black peoples of the world. Yes, we appreciate the sorrows of the past, and we are going to work in the present that the sorrows of our generation shall not be perpetrated in the future. On the contrary, we shall strive that by our labors, succeeding generations of our own shall cause us blessed, even as we call the generation of the past blessed today. And they indeed were blessed. They were blessed with a patience not yet known to man, a patience that enabled them to endure the tortures, the suffering of slavery for 250 years. Why? Was it because they loved slavery so? No, it was because they loved this generation more. Isn't it wonderful, transcendent? What then are you going to do to show your appreciation of this love? What gratitude are you going to manifest in return for what they have done for you? As for me, knowing the suffering of my forefathers, I shall give back to Africa that liberty that she once enjoyed hundreds of years ago, before her own sons and daughters were taken from her shores and brought in chains to this Western world. No better gift can I give in honor of the memory of the love of my foreparents for me, and gratitude of the sufferings they endured that I might be free. No grander gift can I bear to the sacred memory of the generation past than a free and a redeemed Africa, a monument for all eternity, for all times. As by the action of the world, as by the conduct of all races and nations, it is apparent that not one of them has the sense of justice, the sense of love, the sense of equity, the sense of charity that will make men happy, make God satisfied. It's apparent that it is left to the Negro to play such a part in human affairs. But when we look to the Anglo-Saxon, we see him full of greed, avarice, avarice, what's that? Avarice, no
Avarice,
mercy. Say it again, I'm sorry.
avarice,
Avarice, no mercy, no love, no charity. We go from the white man to the yellow man, and we see the same inevitable characteristics in the Japanese. Therefore, we must believe that the psalmist had great hopes of this race of ours when he prophesies princes shall come out of Egypt and Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God. If humanity is regarded as made up of the children of God, and God loves all humanity, we all know that then God will be more pleased with that race that protects all humanity than with the race that outrages the children of God. And so tonight we celebrate this anniversary of our emancipation. We do it not with regret, on the contrary, we do it with an abiding confidence, a hope, and a faith in ourselves and in our God. And the faith that we have is faith that will ultimately take us back to that ancient place, that ancient position that we once occupied when Ethiopia was in her glory. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Tania. So that was a reading of Marcus Garvey's speech delivered on Emancipation Day, January 1, 1922. I'll open the floor for any questions, comments on what we just read.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, Dr.
Yes, it's a message that rang true at that time when it was spoken, and now with them trying to re-enslave us or lock us up based on the history that they caused, the same speech rings true today. We just got to know how to act upon it and work with the ancestors to counter what they will be trying to do to us in the very so near future. Peace remains first.
First. Anyone else? I got to take a call real quick. 1 second.
Hello, greetings, brothers and sisters.
Greetings, brother. How you doing? Go ahead, brother. Did you have a comment you wanted to share?
Hello, yeah, I'm Benjamin from Ghana.
Greetings, Benjamin. How you doing?
It's been a long time being here on. It's been a long time for me being on this platform.
Your signal's breaking up a little bit, Benjamin.
But today I am in. It's been so long for me here, but I'm so.
We're glad that you could join us today, brother Benjamin.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you all, brothers and sisters, as one people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, let me get some. Were there any other comments on the speech that Marcus Garvey gave January 1, 1922?
No, I was just, I think I said this last year, but I just wonder why, what stopped Emancipation Day from being celebrated? Because it seemed like, that was an actual holiday. And how did we get to Juneteenth, instead of January 1st? Because to me, that would make more sense.
Yes.
I have questions that can't be answered right now, but that's what I just made me think about. In time I'll read that.
Yes, that's a valid and it's a good observation. The fact that we don't, as a people, we no longer really acknowledge January 1 as a day of celebration, but we do when it comes to Juneteenth. So my comment, it's two comments or two things that come to my mind. when I think about why that is the way that it is. One, I'm sure the dominant society in America is an integrationist society. America is trying to do everything that it can to sustain itself and to continue survival for generations to come. So in the sake of survival, America is trying to get and include as many people as possible. But when you look at Emancipation Day, January 1, that would be a specific type of celebration for a specific group of people, specifically those that were enslaved and were in need of emancipation. So from an American inclusionist standpoint, a capitalist standpoint, it would make more sense to highlight New Year's, as a whole, a new year for the entire country, for all people, for all individuals, and celebrate that and capitalize off of that, as opposed to highlighting Emancipation Day for a specific group of people like we do for Juneteenth. So that's what I think personally is why it's not highlighted, because that would be something else that would rally our people together. So,
but I think that shouldn't stop us from celebrating it anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Brother Art. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we could, as an organization, we could celebrate it, even if it's nothing but just getting on here and reading his speech or reading some of his work. That's what I feel. Race first.
Yes, race first, Brother Art. And I agree with you 1,000%. That is why I wanted to make sure that this was something that we discussed today and we didn't cancel the meeting and postpone it. We have to, again, I'm going to keep asking this question: what is sacred in our community? What is sacred in the Black community that is only for us and not for anyone else?
Yes,
yes. My answer to that would be the things that we create. So Emancipation Day should be a sacred day that we highlight and honor on a annual basis. One of the issues that I've seen is Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. And he never said that was a weapon that was only used by other people. That is a weapon that we use within our own race. We disorganize ourselves. And what I've seen is a bit of fatigue to an extent. When you look at, in all respect to Kwanzaa, it's a great event, great holiday. However, it is a long event, 7 days in a row. And then after that would be Emancipation Day. So we would be asking our people to, celebrate and acknowledge 8 consecutive days in a row, which is something that we should be able to do. But it seems as of right now, the focus has been more so on celebrating Kwanzaa rather than celebrating Emancipation Day. Those are just my observations.
Shay, brother, that's well stated. And I can see the fatigue factor.
Yeah. Because Kwanzaa itself, just getting through the 7 days, trying to do every day, honestly,
Yeah.
That's strenuous. It is good for the people, good for the community, but it takes a lot. We participated on Kujichagulia and Nia, so Tuesday and Friday. We had our own event on Friday. We supported another event on Tuesday, but that in itself, is tough, especially when you still have our normal our indoctrinated family that still celebrate Christmas, and we still need to support and do traveling and hosting for those celebrations as well. So
Yeah.
we put ourselves under a lot of strain during that time of year, and I think Emancipation Day has just kind of become a lower priority, and it's been absorbed into New Year's. So we have to correct that. But again, that's why I wanted to make sure we discuss this today. If not us, then who will be bringing forth this information? So we should honor that responsibility, that obligation, and make plans to acknowledge Emancipation Day every year. Anybody have questions, comments on Emancipation Day? Somebody on the conference line?
This is Brother Charles.
Greetings, Brother Sean. How you doing?
We have to question ourselves about, and thank you, Mr. God.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, how the quadrant is not a weak line, it's kind of tenuous. You have to question the culture. The culture going back, not what we know in America, but what we did in America.
Yeah.
Everything we know in America right now, it's not for us. So we adopted this somebody else's culture. Want it now, let's get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why 1956 was to the American people, the American Negro, or the African in America, that you got these 7 days because the festivities always represented something. There's a reason why that. And by us not growing up in that culture that belongs to us, then when we start to learn about it, then it kind of irritates us. It's just almost like, I say it this way. When somebody comes to you, and you about being black, all your life you grew up under white supremacy, not knowing it. So when they say be black, that little white man in your head, you can pass around, you get irritated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In America, we did something that we do. We do a reverse migration. It was irritating. It's just a part of like the feminism. When you get people now,
Yeah.
It's us. So that's just only my take on that, but I have grown to accept, hey, the pain come with me, myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Promise myself, even with this group right here, how to get my life. What do you say? I be grateful, even though I'm listening. Pain has to come. And I say it every Sunday, we're has within myself, community, and my community, five kids are really but me talking them here and there, to see what they hear, you know, they do this. So far, they think.
Yeah.
They get them going.
Understand. Race first. You said a critical statement in that, in the essence of making things better for the next generation, basically, and that's we should all have that calling to kind of evaluate our own lives, look at the struggles that we had to go through, and also look at the things that we're doing to make things better and easier for the next generation. So for us as Garveyites, one of the things that Garvey stresses heavily is history and the understanding of history, and having pride in our history and what our ancestors, the accomplishments our ancestors have made, all the way back through the continent of Africa. So we've inherited, that responsibility, and we must make sure that, again, as I said, our sacred holidays are, at least the next generation has an opportunity to understand these things that we hold sacred. If they choose to carry it on or not, that's up to them. But I feel that we have an obligation to make sure that what we were given and what we were able to inherit, we are able to pass on to the next generation. But my comments in regards to, the Emancipation Day speech, one of the things that I always look at when I look at Garvey's work is the dates, and I backtrack the dates to find out how old Garvey was when he made those statements. January 1, 1922, 37, August 37. So by August 22, he would have been 35. That means I believe he's 34 years old when he made this speech. And a lot of the things that he says, he maintained his outlook. And some of it goes to even before, to an earlier age when he established the UNIA. But my point is, a lot of his ideals he maintained throughout his death. Let me see. And there were some things that were said specifically. About action in the world as by the conduct of all races and nations, it is apparent that not one of them has the sense of justice, the sense of love, the sense of equity, the sense of charity that would make men happy and make God satisfied. It is apparent that it is left to the Negro to play such a part in human affairs. So when Garvey looked at the world, looked at the history of the world, and again, this is what it is to be a Garveyite, is to look and see what the world has, what the world doesn't have, and specifically what our people have, what our people don't have, and what our people need, and step into that responsibility to be the solution to our own problems. So when Garvey looked out into the world, he says, looking at the history of man, no one has taken up the responsibility to perfect humanity. So it's up to us to do that, and we must be the first examples. And that's something that Garvey maintained throughout his entire life. When you look at Message to the People, Course of African Philosophy that he wrote at the age of 50, he repeats these exact same sentiments and ideals. And then He has something that came from the preamble as well that I saw in here. But I can't remember it. But before we go to member share, I will share our preamble. But those were the things that I pulled was, Garvey's call to responsibility, consistency of messaging, and, his desire for us to acknowledge these days throughout the year. So we must continue that call as Garveyites in our time. So that's all I have. Race first. Anybody else have any comments on the topic for today?
I can't hear anything. Doing quiet.
I'm sorry. I muted the line. Go ahead, Brother Sean. I'm sorry. Can you go back to the top? I had muted my microphone.
Look at it, even like this. Even other people. Number one, children Israel. The particular children of Judah was supposed to show the world how to live. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Mr. Garvey, the Honorable Mr. Marcus Garvey, got that from. We were showing the world how to live.
Yes, sir.
If you don't know history, you don't know that, then you don't know where it came from. Mr. Garvey, all he did is everything is being repeated to us. We the ones who listen to the message.
Yes, sir.
We were supposed to show the world how to live. Mr. Garvey, along the thing according to time of the people that's living. This is on other thing that's supposed to keep it things to come to brief. The message stays the same. And what makes God, he said, I never saw a lie. Because he don't come with a new message. The message stays the same.
Yes.
We need to separate from these people. We get things get stuck when we say separation. I say love everybody. You want to, when you be in your house, you separated from the next family that lives next door to you.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, the simplistic term. What you do in your house, you ain't concerned about nobody else that lives next door to you. And that's the only thing that was being said. We have to separate. We have to separate so we won't be distracted. That's why the separation is.
Yes.
Now,
no problem. Thank you, Brother Sean. Yes, the message is the same. I mean, it's like the saying, preaching to the choir, in a sense, we are in a position of the choir right now. The ones of our race that decide to take on the responsibility of organization, we become the choir. So we will hear these messages over and over, self-reliance, self-determination, Africa for the African, those at home and those abroad. What must be done for our people must be done by our people. Collective economy, collective responsibility. These are principles that we will be hearing over and over and over and over and over again until the masses of our people catch on. So if we don't want to just be hearing the same message over and over and over, we have responsibility to be the sound box, and spread that message to others, and kind of get everybody. We got to get everybody up to speed. But in regards to the separation, there must first be a mental separation. There must be a mental agreement of our people to separate from colonialism and become a part of something that was created by their own people. And that's what Mr. Garvey attempted to do, has successfully done ever since 1914 and 1920. So anybody else have any questions, comments on Emancipation Day, January 1, 1922?
Race first.
Place first, Dr. Shams.
Yes, I think you were speaking in reference to a section of his Emancipation speech, pointing to the proclamation that we make for the UNIA government and ACL. You just passed it. Go back to where it says God. That paragraph is the one I think you're talking about. Race first.
Race first. God never intended that man should enslave his fellow, and the price of such a sin or such a violation of heaven's law must be paid by everyone. As for me, because of the blessed past, because of the history that I know, so long as there is within me the breath of life and the spirit of God, I struggle on the urge of others of our race to struggle. I struggle on and urge others of our race to struggle on and see that justice is done to Black people of the world. Yes, we appreciate the sorrows of the past, and we are going to work in the present that the sorrows of our generation shall not be perpetuated in the future. On the contrary, we shall strive that by our labors, succeeding generations of our own shall call us blessed, even as we call the generation of the past blessed today, and they indeed were blessed. They were blessed with a patience not yet known to man, a patience that enabled them to endure the tortures and the sufferings of slavery for 250 years. Why? Was it because they loved slavery so? But yes, Dr. Shams, in the end of the preamble, as we will read in a second, Garvey talks about a situation in which men will be blessed, and the world will be blessed. But part of that comes from us as melanated people, or as Negroes, as Garvey said in his time. We have to reclaim the divinity within us. In his teachings, Garvey says that God never intended for man, for us, the melanated man, to be considered inferior in any way. And by us accepting inferiority, it's a disgrace to God. So we must, reclaim our backbones, stand up as men and women, as melanated African descendants, reclaim our position, our divinity, and that will in turn, once we reclaim our position as the leading race, how you could take that however you want, the world will be in a much better place. We'll be able to rule from divinity, from peace, rather than from violence and bloodshed. Anybody have questions, comments before we go to member share? Questions, comments? Okay. Well, that will close out our topic, our section for the topic of the day. Again, today is January 8th, 2023. Topic for today was Marcus Garvey's January 1, 1922 Emancipation Day speech. And, you know, we as UNIA, as Garveyites, have an obligation to uphold these days that, you know, we call ourselves Garveyites. So if Marcus Garvey created a special day, then we as Garveyites should be honoring that special day. That's just point blank, period. We dishonor and we disrespect the legacy of Marcus Garvey and the UNIA when we don't acknowledge the days and the things that our ancestors created. So next year, and, you know, UNIA executives, we just had an executive meeting yesterday where we were discussing goals for this year briefly, but we will continue to do that. But as we discuss schedules and goals, sacred days should be included, you know, and Emancipation Day, I think, should be a day that we come together and we at least acknowledge the history of the day and try to honor Garvey's legacy by working to use that day to organize our people. All right. So with that, we will transfer over to member share. Before we go to member share, I just have a couple things, not really even a couple things, I just want a couple statements, but one thing that we will be doing, one of the things that I said that we brought up yesterday in executive meeting is insanity. Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And that's the importance of us coming together and planning and discussing, you know, what we did in the past, how effective we were in the past, and what we want to do differently in the future. One of the things that we want to do differently this year is make sure we bring up the preamble in our meetings to especially for our newer members that don't know about the UNIA. This has always been described as a great way to introduce the organization as well as defend the organization. And for those that have been around for a while now, we should be working to memorize the preamble so that, you know, when we're out in the streets working with the community, someone asks, what is the UNIA? What do y'all do? We can, you know, give them the preamble off the top of our head. But without further ado, the preamble of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is a social, friendly, humanitarian, charitable, educational, institutional, constructive, and expansive society. And that is very important, society. And it is founded by persons desiring to the utmost to work for the general uplift of the Negro peoples of the world. And the members pledge themselves to do all in their power to conserve the rights of their noble race and to respect the rights of all mankind, believing always in the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. The motto of the organization is one God, one aim, one destiny. Therefore, let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. But with love, faith, and charity towards all, the reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and the generations of men shall be called blessed. But just first thing, society. When we talk about coming together or separating, organizing, this is the creation of societies. And this is what we have promoted since day one, is the creation of our own racial society, where we can, you know, solve our own problems, discuss things amongst ourselves, and create things that are sacred, or recreate things that are sacred that have been taken from us in the past. But then at the end, as I said, therefore let justice be done to all mankind, realizing that if the strong oppresses the weak, confusion and discontent will ever mark the path of man. So when we look at the current state of the world, I think that's what we are talking about. The people in a position of strength, whether it's technological or financial or whatever it may be, have chosen to oppress the weak. And therefore, we are living in a world of confusion and discontent. However, if we, as the original man and women of the world, reclaim our position, then we can rule with love, faith, and charity towards all. The reign of peace and plenty will be heralded into the world, and the generations of men shall be called blessed. But when you look at history, no other race has been able to rule the world without violence and bloodshed, except for the African race. So if we expect, peace throughout the world, we must reclaim our position as I don't want to say rulers, but just as leaders of our people and leaders of our nations. So, all right, with that, we will go into member share, and we don't have a lot on the call tonight. As always, we start with our sisters. Sister Tania, you are our sole sister tonight. So greetings, Sister Tania.
Greetings. I really don't have anything to share. I guess I could share on the recording that I'm now completed with school. I'm excited about that and excited to start my new career sometime soon. I'm just hoping that I can find a Black salon to work at. That's going to be the only problem is with the Koreans and others dominating the business. It might be a little hard for me to find somewhere to work. And I know a lot of Black nail techs that I've spoke with, they say that they won't hire them there anyway at the Korean shops. They're not trying to have you up in there. One of the reasons being that they up in there, a lot of them is up in there illegal. And the human trafficking and stuff, human trafficking is not always sexual. It can just be, they bringing people in from other countries and, you know what I'm saying, and making them work for a little or nothing.
Yeah.
And they said that that's one of the things I learned, like in some of those Korean salons, not everyone has the license. And some of the people are, how they say, well, they look alike, so they can have somebody else picture who they look similar to, and they working off of them, and they don't, want you to catch on to what they're doing. So I kind of learned that, and plus I don't want to work for them anyway. Yeah. But also it's just been hard for me to get the support from the community. I'm sure we all know that. With me doing nails and feet, it shouldn't be no one going to the nail shop that know me, that's in my family. Should nobody be going. But that's not the way it is working. It's working out like that. So I just keep on doing what I'm doing and try to be the best that I can be at what I do, and make sure I'm giving good services so that it can put a good name on Black businesses, and that I'm not just asking people to come to me just because I'm Black and I'm not, living up to a good standard. So I'm gonna pass it. Race first.
Race first. Congratulations, Sister Tania. And yes,
Thank you.
We understand the struggles with our people. It's a long fight, but if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know.
All right, thanks.
Let's see, what am I sharing? I'm not sharing anything. All right, next we will go over to our brothers. First brother I'll bring in. Oh, we have another, sorry, Sister Mary. Is that you, Sister Mary?
No, this is Mama Liberty.
Oh, greetings, Mama Nabantu. How you doing? I'm sorry, I don't have the Zoom line or the conference up, so I can't see the name. Greetings, Mama Nabantu. Did you have anything that you wanted to share with us tonight?
Greetings to all that's on this call. I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody and pray that things will be productive and prosperous and that we are on our toes in terms of what this country is getting ready to bring down on us, and that we are prepared for this financial breakdown that's getting ready to happen, and that we need to be thoroughly prepared for what's to come, making sure that we have gardens or cow gardens to grow our own food, because we know that the word is out there that food is going to be getting closer than it's ever been before. Also want to announce that the Pan-Africanist movement has also come up with new goals for this year. Our plan is to have Congress in 2023. We haven't decided which country on the continent is going to be, but my goal right now is to identify here in North America and Canada those Pan-African groups like UNIA-ACL, Cashapp, WADU, the American Grassroots Movement, other Pan-African groups to come together at some point to agree on the fact that what Marcus Garvey said was that we need a united, and we all need to, at some point, collaborate together to move toward that goal, to make sure that hopefully within the next decade that we will see a united with our own currency, with our own educational system, and with our own healing situation that we need to have, and that we can be able to eliminate the gap between continental Africans and our thinking about it. That has been the ultimate goal of the dominant society to keep us apart. So here in Atlanta, the Metro Atlantic PFC is continuing on every second Saturday of every month. And it would be great to have our two representatives from UNIA to attend those meetings to share on the second and fourth Sunday what's going on and where we are in this project. So I thank you for this opportunity this time. And John, we wish you at our Kwanzaa. We talked to you about this week first, but I realized that was the same day that you guys were doing the UNA was doing their Kwanzaa at and then a year back and they first.
Yes. Thank you, Mama Nabantu. I do remember getting with you and planning that. Yeah, we were initially gonna do our Kwanzaa on Tuesday. We got started a little late, like in December, and we found out that WADU had been doing the Tuesday Fuji Chagalia for a few years, so we deferred the Tuesday to them, and then we ended up moving to NIA. That seemed to be the next best, but yeah, my apologies on the conflict and schedule. You mentioned second Saturday of every month. Where are the meetings? Are these meetings in person or virtual?
They're right now on virtual.
Virtual. Okay. I would like, we should, Bob James, you there? I'll see you on the Zoom. Baba James.
Face first, yes, I'm here.
I know that you have talked to me in the past about supporting the Bantu and the Pan-African Federalist movement. Do you think you have the bandwidth, the time to be the official representative for the UNIA on the second Saturday meetings for the Pan-African Federalist Movement?
Did you say with Mama Nabantu?
Yes.
Man, I don't know, man. That's a hard one right there. Of course, I'd be honored.
Okay.
To make the time.
Okay. Mama Nabantu, we definitely appreciate the invitation. As of right now, Baba James will be our primary delegate to communicate with the Pan-African Federalist Movement. Do you have my contact number, Mama Nabantu? Well, yeah. Yeah, if you got the text and stuff. Yeah, we've communicated. This is the first I've heard of it. Well, it's the first that you officially shared it with us on the second Saturday. We have executive meetings on the first Saturday, so we just met yesterday. If I had known, we could have, been a little better prepared. But let me share this, and Baba James, please don't let me forget. But we want to share this with the other executives to give them an opportunity to participate as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama Nabantu. Race first. Were any other sisters on the call before we move to the brothers? Any other sisters? Okay. All right, let me jump over to our brothers. Dr. Shams, we'll start with you, member number 172.
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams.
Yes, today was the birthday for our beloved prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. He was born January 8th, 1886. And he died somewhere in one of the months of July, somewhere. I think it was. I don't remember the exact date, but he died. He passed. I think they killed him around 1929. Yeah. Let me just read two statements or two passages that I love to use anytime I'm writing the Moorish Holy Quran on my website in abbreviation. Mm-hmm. One of them is 11 items, the other one is 5 items. Let me read the one with the 11 items first. That's chapter 48 of the Moorish Holy Quran, and it says, the end of time and the fulfillment of the prophecies. Number 1, the last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. Number 2, John the Baptist was the forerunner of Yahushua or Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed, which was to be taught by Yahushua. That's Jesus. That's what we call Jesus in North America. Okay. Number 3, in these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree. That's separation right there. And return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. In other words, we need to go back where we belong with each other. Yes, sir. Stay away from other races as best we can. Number 4, the Moorish Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc. Number 5, that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of men under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Number 6, we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. We do not desire that. Neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. In other words, they have their philosophy and we should have ours. Number 7, therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. Christianity was prepared for the salvation of Europeans in particular, starting with the Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church in the Vatican in Rome, Italy. Number 8, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. Number 9, the covenant of the great God Allah, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth, land which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. Number 10, come all ye Asiatics of America and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed. That you will learn to love instead of hate. Yes, that's part of the reason, part of the responsibility of my website, part of what I put the website together for, so that we may unite as Asiatics and be better prepared to separate from the European race and other races who don't like us. Number 11, we are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourselves with the families of nations. Those are the nations who, like us, have nothing else really to be saved from other than to unite with us. That's why sometimes when I write, I say blacks and other minorities, because there are other people who come from us, who are of us, and more so than the European. We need to leave the people that we're not with alone and join in more with those who are somewhat, or better still, more like us, blacks and other minorities. Number 11, we are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourself with the family of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. Let me go to number 25. This is how we unite ourselves in Moorish America. This is why the Moorish Science Temple of America has such unity, just like the rest of Islam, and so does the Moorish American government by Dr. Pert Harun Tutankhamun Bey, who wrote the book Noble Drew Ali, Exhuman of a Nation, by Elihu Nathaniel Pleasant Bey, before he changed his name to Pert Harun Tutankhamun Bey. This is just 5 verses. Number 1, ye are the children of one Father. Now, let me read from the top. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Number 1, ye are the children of one Father, provided for by his care, and the breasts of one mother have given you suck. Number 2, let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. Number 3, and when ye separate in the world, remember the relations that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. Number 4, if thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. Number 5, so shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Peace and race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams. Thank you for that reading. You are correct. Today is celebration of the birth of Noble Drew Ali. He became the leader of the Moorish Science Temple, and we hold him, we hold Noble Drew Ali in high regard. Personally, not organizationally, but Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, and Elijah Muhammad, for me, are the holy trinity of melanated nationality. I can't use the word Black nationality, but when it comes to the ideals of nationhood and showing the example of organizing in our lands, I think these three men are far above what anyone else or what any of our people have done in this land in recent times. So we honor Noble Drew Ali. We work with and we respect the Moorish Science Temple. They are having a event right now, actually, January 8th from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. here in Atlanta. We have been invited, but obviously we can't be in two places at one time. So we have made contributions to the Moorish Science Temple. We've provided a gift, but we couldn't be there in person. But we do pledge for this year to continue our brotherhood and continue to develop the relationship that we have, not only with the Moorish Science Temple, but with the Nation of Islam, Pan-African Federalist Movement, World African Diaspora Union, Association for the Study of Classical African Civilization, as well as many other organizations here in Atlanta. But again, thank you, Dr. Shams, for reading those words from the Holy Quran of Moorish Science Temple.
Yes, sir. Those were chapter 25 and 48. I love to mention them throughout my website. Whenever I abbreviate the initials, MHK, Moorish Holy Quran, I put right with it, chapter 25, which is the Asiatic Covenant, and chapter 48, the fulfillment of end time prophecies. Peace and race first.
First. Thank you, Dr. Shams. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions for Dr. Shams or anything, anybody have anything? Oh, I got hiccups. All right, let me keep moving. Next brother I want to bring in, UNIA member 449 in Annandale, Virginia, Brother Art. Greetings, Brother Art.
Greetings, family. All I want to say is peace and blessings to the family for this new year. And just keep your eyes on these people in the government because they are crazy. You don't know what they might do next. Race first.
Yes, sir. Race first. Thank you, Brother Art. Yes, and we must be diligent. Yes, keep our eyes on them, but we also must continue to work on our own plans. We must, in addition to being reactive to what they do, we must be proactive to our own plans. One of the disadvantages that we have, and one of the advantages that the dominant society has right now is they're the only ones on offense. We're the only ones on defense. So they don't really have to worry about what we are doing too much. And not to say that we should be a threat to the dominant society. That's not what I'm promoting. But what I am saying is, well, not a physical threat to the dominant society, but we should be a ideological threat, a philosophical threat, an intellectual threat. So, we should be, if not, putting out policies. We should at least be putting out ideologies that support Garveyism, that support organization, and challenge our people to blindly supporting colonialism. So thank you, Brother Art.
Shane, brother.
Let's see. Next, brother, I want to bring in. Let's see. Forgot who came in next, but I'll just go to. Officers. I'm gonna come to y'all at the end. Let me jump over to our conference line. Brother Sean, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Greetings, Brother Sean. You want to share? Remember, share.
To the family. But terms of reading, I get to myself, oh, we cannot get this message out to the people to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get ourselves together. We can't continue to drag other people with us. What I said before I got off the phone earlier was that we were supposed to show the world how to live.
Mm-hmm.
How can we do that when we distracted with somebody else's culture?
Yes.
You, we, me, all of us, we don't know who we are. That's why the distraction is getting distracted every time we get a little closer. Like I was listening to you when you said we ought to be
Yes, sir.
The brother really is on.
Yes, sir.
Men in America, you know why he is the FBI 10 most dangerous men in America? Because he has the attention of everybody. He ain't said nothing that was not true. He got the attention of everybody. Same thing happened when they killed Fred Hampton. What did he have? You know, he's white. He has the attention. That's when you become a threat. When you speak truth to power, you become a threat. The only way you can speak truth to power, you cannot be afraid to die. When you are afraid to die, then you are talking a passive language. You ain't getting nobody's attention. It's just like playing ping pong. You gonna throw it, they gonna throw it right back in. Who gonna win?
Yeah.
You have to speak truth. You know, we been told this lie when I heard the part about Christianity that Dr. Towns was reading. We've been told this lie that this white boy gonna come riding on the cloud like a surfboard.
Mm-hmm.
On the BS. We looking for it. I remember my mom thought that way. Grandmother thought that way. My grandmother thought that way. We was created in the image. He's supposed to be God, and he's gonna come down here, but then we got to get a rocket ship, and then we got to put a spacesuit on. So how is he coming out of there and he ain't gonna have no spacesuit on? What we believe. The rest of us, we willing to say that the boy gonna come and save us. We willing to, but we ain't willing to die to help the next generation break it out. Most of us, we go to sleep. Nigga was my house, I'm gonna throw his damn brains out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way most of us think.
Yeah.
But we ain't thinking, let me go help that sister out. Let me go help that brother out. But we'll say something He always thinks he needs to go get a goddamn job. But anyway, so much for that. So last year sometime, mentioned here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or Baton, whatever you want to call it. Melanated person, grown person, or even young adult, or even somewhat puberty of a child. Fortunate enough, because I live in the South on reverse migration, that I grew up in 125th and Amsterdam in the Grand Projects. So that's how I know who Marcus Garvey is. Or was. Same thing you ask him about Shirley Chisholm. Who is she? They do not know these people that you and we are talking about, because they are not in a major city. Then the educational system is not teaching them who their elders or ancestors are or was. They being taught in school, Martin Luther King, I had a dream, the buzz and go. Malcolm X turned to a slogan, by any means necessary. In the South, I'm telling you, I'm living right in the midst of it. I think I'm the only person, maybe a couple of people that's further into the city, the NAACP, that is on this black topic. You don't see no signs. You don't see no Rastafari Jamaican stores, even on Southern University. You don't see none of that. This is a long fight. So when we have to adopt that philosophy of don't cast those pearls to swine, we come out people. They're not gonna listen. We don't have time to sit back and let them wake up. They don't have to play catch up. But we got to keep this ball rolling. We have to do that as a people. We have to do that. Everybody else ain't gonna come along. It's only gonna be a chosen few. Most melanated people, all they want to do, making the money, spend their money on stuff they can't take to the grave with them, and that's the end of the ball game. Most, I ain't say all. That's one.
Yes.
You know, I look at car in Atlanta, I sit there and say, man, the education is flowing like a river. Right there in Atlanta. It's flowing somewhat in New Orleans. In New York City. It will always be my home. New York, we as a people, we have to get out this mentality of saying God loves everybody. That is not true. The income from the people can. Then we will get told want to live with these people. We cannot afford to drag these other people in. Right, putting the anchor on the ship and dropping in the water. We study floating away, let the current take us where we supposed to go, but the anchor still holding us in place. These other people, they don't want it. They want to be like us. They kill us. We see it every day. And I sit up here asking myself all the time. Every time I hear about a white person killing a melanated person, and I don't see nobody raising no hell about it. I don't see nobody raising no hell when we kill us. Then again, we got to get away from other people. Then we can deal with the stupid. We'll put them in jail. We just like that. A couple years back, when the United States government went over there and asked that president about why he's killing drug dealers, and they said the drugs destroy a culture of people, a civilization. If you're selling drugs, you better stop. If not, you was automatically getting executed. No ifs, no ands, or buts about it. And if you was on drugs, you had 3 years to get yourself straight. If not, you got dealt with. You can't be lenient when you're dealing with a culture or a sin or a plague. You have to attack it. We are so passive. We think that we're going to get into the hereafter. It ain't going to be no bloodshed. Where God, I heard you say about history. About history. Once we lost the idea of who we was, or the thinking of who we was, from that point on, you look at it. Every group of people that wanted their freedom, they had to shed blood. So how will we be any different than anybody else?
I understand.
It's gonna have to be bloodshed. Once we understand that, they kill one of us, we kill one of them. Matter of fact, maybe think about white boy. Last week, 2 weeks ago, pulled up on a 6-year-old, a 13-year-old boy, jumped out of his vehicle, shot him dead. Shot him dead for no reason. Shot him dead. He got arrested, charged with murder. You know what they did? Because I forgot what that was. They implemented a new law like Florida got. Stand your ground.
Yeah.
This dude walking away, charges dropped. Hey, nobody raising no hell about it. Nobody. This is how we get treated. This is a 13-year-old kid, minding his business. This man rolls up in a pickup truck, jumps out, shoot him. I witnessed the say he did that. He said, I'm defending myself. DA dropped the charges, posted bond, further investigation. And he's walking the street. He's walking the street. This is how we get treated. Because we sit back and accept BS like this. So how you think other cultures of people gonna come here and look at us? You're not willing to die, black man and woman, African in America. You ain't willing to die. That's why we continue to get treated the way we treat. And then if you find that somebody willing to stand up, what you do, you turn your back on. That's why Malcolm got killed. That's why Martin got killed. When you get tired with your sons, my children included too, with your sons and daughters, when you wake up one morning and you ain't got no kids, but all your kids dead from the hands of other people, we leave them from our own people, then you don't know how to do it. Then it's so hard.
Race first, brother Sean. When you mentioned something about a rebellion, and people like standing up for themselves. Which group was that?
Stand up for yourself, meaning group of folks. The same thing that
I thought you said something about there was a group or nation that when you were saying it, because you said something about like we don't let me see. It's like we don't have any rules or regulations like we're Black people in America, we don't hold each other accountable. I think that's where you were going.
Yes, we don't look. I mean, look at it. I mean, hold each other accountable. I mean, think about it. I remember I'm 56. Hopefully, in about 3 weeks I'll be 57. You know, praise be to Allah. You know, when I grew up, there was times in every community, neighborhood watch. You see somebody breaking into somebody's house, you call the police. Now it ain't none of my business. I don't like that nigga anyway. He think he more than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something.
Mm-hmm.
We come up with some of these excuses of not protecting our home, not taking accountability for what goes on in our community. This is why our community is the way it is. When you think about the white community, if a building burned out, 6 months they build a new one.
Yes.
Burned down now. Burned down. And you know, 9 years passed by, they got weeds and everything gone. Building still failed.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we have to acknowledge, and this comes from I try not to give my opinion in these meetings. I try to give Marcus Garvey's ideals and opinions. When it comes to, when you look at our community, we must acknowledge and understand at this point, 2023, the most successful people in our communities are the ones that have been the most successful in regards to white institutions. We live in America. This is an American society. So those that do the best or are able to succeed the best in American society are those that have accepted American ideology. So we really can't even look to a lot of these individuals. We live in an era today where it used to be about blackface, where people that weren't Black would paint their faces Black and act out, the stereotypes of Black people. They don't have to do that anymore. We have Black people, with Black skin that are actually doing those roles now. So that's what we really need to acknowledge. The individuals that create a society are developed by the institutions that society creates. And in regards, Garvey says if we're not creating our own institutions and building our own people, then in a sense, we consider white people's institutions to be superior. And I'll read a little bit from Message to the People. He says, the Negro should never completely surrender himself to the institutional life of other people. Otherwise, he will not be original. So with that first, when you think about us being brought to this lands, whose schools did we go to? Whose religious institutions did we go to? We didn't have the right to create anything for ourselves. And by the time we did have the right to create anything for ourselves, it wasn't anything original. We were just recreating the things that we had done for hundreds of years to that time. So otherwise he will not be original, but purely and merely a copyist. If this could be appreciated, it shows or reveals the wide fields of which remained untouched for the Negro organization and Negro activity. So basically saying, if we acknowledge that our people have no choice right now except to copy the examples of white institutions, that should be, again, looking at Garveyism, look at the world, look at what's out there, look at what's needed for our people. That should reveal wide fields which remained untouched for Negro organization and Negro activity. So we should, that should be a a light bulb should go off in our head. We need our own institutions. It is through institutions of a race that a civilization and culture of the race are built. The Negro should occupy himself in cultivating his own culture and ultimately achieving his own civilized ends, so that in the comparison of racial achievements, he may be able to stand out distinctly on those achievements of his own accounts as others may do. To live on the achievements of others is to really admit the superiority of others and the inferiority of self. As a fact, it is by such comparisons that the Negro is judged as inferior, as an inferior being. So when you talk about how us as Black people are viewed by others throughout the world, we are viewed as being complicit with our inferiority. We are being viewed as if we feel that all of these institutions that have been provided for us are better than institutions that we can provide for ourselves. And the reason why we're viewed that way is because when other people look at us, they don't see us building our own institutions. They don't see us contributing to, and you know, from a Deion Sanders standpoint, sustaining our own institutions. Instead, we go off to other institutions. And in closing, he says, nothing that is handed to the Negro by somebody else should be sufficiently satisfactory to the Negro. He should seek to surround it with originality and then claim it as his own. So when I look at our people and what we do and how they act and their behaviors and mannerisms, the first thing that I have to ask is, what institutions did our people go through? You know, and when you talk about ideology, one of the things that Marcus Garvey is trying to do, or with his last set of lessons, was something that he called Afrocentric ideology. So Garvey's overriding concern, and this comes from the introduction, was to develop within his organizers a fierce Afrocentric view of the world. He accepted as given the fact that the white race has imposed its viewpoints on the world, and he thought that basically for us to counter that, we would have to impose our views on the world. So we talk about this in our study groups, but most people in the world are tied to one of three sets of ideologies, either Eurocentric, either Eastern or Indian/Asian, or Afrocentric. When you look at the United States is a copy of Eurocentric ideology. So unless we're creating some institutions and supporting institutions within this Eurocentric paradigm, we can't expect our people to have an Afrocentric ideology. And if our people aren't seeking to obtain an Afrocentric ideology, again, we must infer that they believe the Eurocentric ideology is superior. And that's the challenge that Garveyism has been fighting for over 100 years. Garvey said that his failure was trying to change the world without first changing the minds of men. So, you know, before we do anything, before we're ready to do any, you know, the first thing we must be ready to do is organize. You know, before we talk about, you know, going out and doing anything else, all of these groups that have achieved their liberation, whether through bloodshed or politics or whatever, before they fought, they organized. And we as melanated, you know, individuals in the United States, we continue to spin that wheel of organization, but we have never come together, outside of these groups that I've spoken of, UNIA, Nation of Islam, Moorish Science Temple, and, you know, said, this is who we are, this is what we stand for, and you know, we support this collectively. And I think that's why we continue to hear the same messages over and over. Go ahead. Yes. What do you mean? Yeah, just get bigger.
You said one of the three.
Eurocentric. Yep.
And you,
Yeah.
your people. You,
Yes. Okay.
He's you. Afrocentric, you got two. You got Afrocentric person and you.
Break that down. I would say, how is the spy different from Eurocentric?
What I mean is like the spines just plain and simple. You got those that look like you that pretended to be Afrocentric. Yeah. Here's going reporting.
That's why I was saying. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You got them two in the Afrocentric, and you got one in the Euro. They all to themselves. Anybody ever been to a Chinatown in New York City or San Francisco, wherever a Chinatown at? They stick together, so we can X them out. Euro and Afrocentric, two dominant forces right there.
Yeah.
And we've been fighting. Now, what I'm saying is this right here: the educational part. Umar Johnson was building a school, regardless of what. Everybody, there's nobody perfect. We always put you with somebody. Well, he doing this, he doing that. In my life right now, I don't have time to worry about is this person gonna be perfect. That Mr. Farrakhan ain't perfect. Noble Duali wasn't perfect. Marcus wasn't perfect. But look at what they're doing. They risking their lives. They risk their lives to be. That's how we try to find fault in a person instead of just keeping the ball moving. We try to find you don't get no perfection until you separate. And get rid of the element that plagues our people. You're gonna have to separate. Ain't no if and ands or buts about it. We're gonna have to do that. You know, it's like getting a steak bite, you know. You cut the wound open, you cut out the corners, and then you wrap it up. But you got to cut it out. We have to separate.
Right.
At first. And then take care of the black, the element plaguing our community. You know, the Nation of Islam, they have a school. It's Umar Johnson was part of, I don't know if he got it up and running. Okay. The HBCU. Who is the having people at these HBCU? Like the NAACP. Who's the founder?
Not us.
But you got more of us. You got more in the WACT. Look at the Marcus Garvey.
Not as many. Not as many. I said not as many.
Right now, in the background, in the shadows,
yes,
there's a bunch of us blood to it. Anything that a black person started from the grassroots to now, how many of us had it?
Yes, I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why I said, the first thing, I mean, just to say, let's take you and I, Islam, Morningside Temple, and whatever black nationalist group that's out there. We're all the group together, 3 or 4 million people. Compared to the Africans in America. Let's say it's 40 million black people in America, Africans in America. There's only 3 million.
Less than that. It's less than that.
Less than that?
Yeah.
Less than that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, think about it. If you put the numbers out there, think of us and in these groups that say, okay, let's pack our shit up and leave America. Compared to those that ain't going nowhere. They right here. See, we are, you, me, these groups out there, no matter what side of the fence they're coming from, if they started from the grassroots, we are dragging a heavy load trying to tote our people. They pulling the other way.
Yes.
What our problem is, it's just like a big old luxury ship that's dying to sail. People doesn't see. But we got this anchor around our neck, and it's our people.
Yes.
We gonna have to separate. Drop the chain, let everybody go. If you don't want to be a part of us, we don't have time to waste with you. You're gonna have to play catch up. Get a canoe, and you're gonna have to swim to the boat. We have to leave it. We can't look back. We have to leave the dock. We keep saying we're gonna leave, but we never leave. We have to get out and open. Let those that want to come from, those that want to stay, let them stay. Brother John, how do you want to do it? We can't be passive about it, and we can't be afraid to die. Let the work ain't down along the way anyway. It's a lot of power. Those that come behind. Seriously, we gonna die for the simple reason because the Lord say we're gonna die. That's number one. Number two, we gonna die for the simple reason that we try to help people. We don't know what it is, man. I mean, like, look at COVID-19. They got Dr. Fauci, they wanna use it because it's a bunch of BS. A regular common cold, everything all the way around us. Bunch of BS. Never did go get the COVID shot because the minister said so. I rolled the dice. Until somebody say this man is a liar, I'm riding with him. I don't agree with everything he says, but that's not the problem. The problem is I have 4 kids, 1 grandson. What is my job? It's to clear the path to those that are coming behind. My family and then my community.
Yes.
It be individual. And on this song, whatever they may be, that's a part of this group and every other nationalist group. That is your job as an individual. Clear the path for those that are coming behind you.
Yes.
But we are too afraid to die. When you are afraid of death, then you ain't fit to live.
Understand. Are these your philosophies, or are these philosophies that come from?
It's the right understanding of what it's just history itself. What it is? It's history. It's just like when you read something, things like you read. When I read this, I heard my grandma talking about certain things. You know what I'm saying? We get more time stealing. And I asked, why we get more time stealing? No, that's the white folks' job. That's what he used to tell me. They took their job to steal. They took everything else. I'm a grown man with a grandson of my own. They stole us, and they continue to steal. They 47 treaties from the Indians, and they broke every one of them.
Yes, but bro,
And they continue to do that. Even and put it like this: intentional wise. Intentional wise. You read that? You just read that.
yes,
Slavery. They made slaves. They didn't bring you over here as slaves. They made slaves.
yes.
They say 1619 was the first slaves that stepped off it, but we know in the lodge there is 64 hidden years that they took to make a slave. We was educated. You think in Africa they wouldn't got the deaf, the dumb, and the blind and brought them here? They didn't know nothing. That's why they couldn't get up. They didn't know a damn thing. They came and got the smartest out of the motherland and brought us here and made us slaves. It was a trade that tried to make this job real easy to pick the cotton that invented the cotton gin.
Mhm.
Everything we have done is DNA. What we do is separate. Like drinking water. Breathe it in. You don't think about breathing.
But Brother Sean,
You just breathe.
I gotta challenge you. When does Marcus Garvey or Elijah Muhammad promote separation over organization?
Well, for the nation is hard to be a movement. He never looked for it to be a movement. But he knew that everybody was not going to be a part of it. It's up to the individual person. He never meant for it to be a movement. In other words, if I tell you something, if I say, well, we both slaves, and I say, let's run, like Malcolm said, let's run. How would you ask where we gonna go? All I know is I'm just trying to get away from here. Does it matter which way we go?
To an extent, yes, it does.
When you get beat, you right here.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me, because you just rambling a little bit. You're not really having a dialogue. If you were in the north of Maryland, and somebody said, let's run, let's go, and they ended up trying to go south, would you want to go with that person, or, back in the slave days, or would you want to make sure you're going north? But previously you just said the direction didn't matter.
Get into Mexico.
Okay.
Well, we thought that, see what I'm saying? You got to know your history. I know enough to deal with certain people that I talk to, that slaves, we always taught in school that slaves came out the South and went north.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were taught.
Yes.
But we have Afrocentric. Slaves went south too into Mexico.
From Maryland?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
They crossed the Rio Grande right there where Louisiana and Texas come together at. That's the fastest running water on the Rio Grande right now, right there. Any place else going west to Rio Grande, you can walk across it, it's ankle deep.
That's interesting. That's a big difference in travel to achieve what would seem to be the same outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back to do some extensive research on the Underground Railroad.
I'll have to do that, but
right there, there's a ranch right now today that's still there. That this black lady escaped to her freedom right across the Rio Grande, right there, Sabine. I guess it's Sabine, Texas, where she crossed the Rio Grande.
And she came from Maryland.
Refuge.
And this sister came from Maryland.
She came from up around North Carolina somewhere there. Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
from a travel and a potential of not surviving the travel, it just seems that a shorter distance would have been preferred. But I'd have to look into the research.
They don't like me on you there. You get to go. Saying is this right here. You're trying to live. Because if I stay here, I'm going to die anyway. If I'm going to die, I might as well die trying to seek freedom.
Yes.
The Indians had this saying, a brave only die once. I would have died many times.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, we don't freedom as the people. We have liberty.
Mm-hmm.
When yes, you can ask the female this. I don't really understand this. A mother's love for their child. How far they willing to go to defend their child? The way you got to look at life. You willing to go to live.
I understand.
Think about you. Look at for this stuff. You in Atlanta. I'm in Louisiana. We both live in Bayou country almost damn near.
If I may chime in,
You think about back then, they didn't have no electricity. They had to cross rivers, swamps. You got cottonmouths and alligators out there. And going through
Brother Sean, President Ross wanted to add some comments to the discussion.
greetings, Brother Sean, and greetings, family. Greetings, President John.
Greetings.
Sean, Brother Sean, you said a whole bunch of things. And I know you still got a lot more left to say. And I'm with you with everything. The only thing where I see it different in what you said we have to separate. And it's hard for me to imagine physically that we can separate from Europeans. Because even if you go to Africa, you're gonna find them down there. But I think what Marcus Garvey meant is that we gotta do for ourselves, have our own government, as he established for us. Anything Black, as Baha used to say, we need to have everything our own as Black people. I think that's what the separation means.
Yes.
To me.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
see what
I ain't trying to put you off. That's what I'm saying. We have to separate because
So let me finish. Let me finish. So that's one thing in what you said. Another thing where I would say that with a plan, we having a plan as a people and we implement the plan, none of us have to die. We don't have to take it to that level. Because if we have a plan to be successful, we just have to work it. And we do have a plan, it's called the Constitution. So we just have to work it. And what I see work it, brothers and sisters, there's millions of us here in the United States, over 50 million, and worldwide, over 400 million, or 1.1 billion African people in the world. So when I was fit in my 20s and 30s, we got to go after those numbers. And what I did when I was fit as a youth, that's when I started building the CBPM website. Because what I realized is with the new social media that's out there, Facebook, Twitter, all of them, Instagram and everything, it's designed not for a team effort, but individual effort. But if we build a website, we can make it a team effort. And by building the website and putting forms online that brothers and sisters can automatically join, that's how we build up our UNIA membership to over 400 members. Because a lot of the members, they didn't even live in Atlanta. Like how you, Brother Sean, and many of our members who we love and appreciate so much, don't live in Atlanta. So that's what we have to do today. We have to use the technology, use what's available to build a team effort. And because Yahoo, who is the program that we use to build a CBPM website, which was able to build a UNIA page and build a page for many members of the UNIA and the CBPM, and build a page for the different Black entities and Black organizations, we were able to grow. Even the CBPM have over 3,000 members. And what Yahoo did in February 2021, they pulled out the rug underneath our feet and discontinued the program that we used to build the CBPM website and unite our people. So the website is still online, but we can't update it because the program is not in existence no more. But if anybody's out there and want to follow the same roadmap that I had followed for the last 15, 20 years to bring us to where we are now, Wix is another program. And the only bad thing about the website building programs of today is that every step you make, they're charging you. You want to put a form on your website, they're going to charge you. You want to put another form, the more things you do, the more they're charging you. Compared to the Yahoo site builder that we used to build the CBPM website, we only paid the $11 a month hosting and $11 a year domain name, and we were able to do anything we wanted to do. Put on as many buy now buttons as we want for each member who have a page that's selling things, to over hundreds of forms to gather our people, because there's over 50 million here. And this is what has to be done in today's time. We have to build unity, build our numbers, because with our numbers comes our strength. In numbers is strength. So that's what I want to chime in and share with everybody. If there's somebody out there that's ambitious enough to see what kind of program, website building program, can I use to rebuild the unification? We have to build a page for everybody, because with the CBPM website, we had over 2,000 pages of information on Black people. And that automatically, when Black people go see, wow, they didn't know that there's such a strong unification amongst all of us, was different Black organizations. All of us made the website. Different UNIA divisions had pages. Everybody who was doing something positive had pages. And if somebody can redo that in this time now, with the new programs that they have, and be able to endure that cost, our numbers will grow and our power will grow. So that's the plan. And that's what I have to say. And the beautiful thing about it is that within the circle of those who are on the line and those who come on the line, we are the nucleus of that plan. It's us, are the pioneers. And we just have to continue to build it. That's why I love how President John doing it, because he overstand that and step up for leadership to bring us together. Ross Marvin chiming out, passing the mic back to President John.
Thank you, President Ross Marvin. Brother
Yes,
Sean,
sir.
did you have any other comments?
Sir?
Did you have any comments in closing? We still got a couple other brothers that have a chance to share. Thank you, Brother Sean. Great first. Yeah, one of the things as President Ross Marvin was speaking that came to my mind that I feel we may want to internalize is where we are, our position as individuals when we hear these type of words and statements amongst organizations. The organizations are like a tree, you know. Garvey, for us, the UNIA, Garveyism and our ancestors would be the roots of that tree. Our branch of the tree, and it's interesting that it comes out like that because it's like a branch of the UNIA. Branch, chapter, or division is 421 here in Atlanta. And these mass meetings are supposed to be like the fruit of the organization. So we're, you know, as we discuss this, you know, it's like sharing the fruit of the organization, the fruit of the past, the fruit of our ancestors. And now it's up to us, and it's up to those that hear the message. And the question is, you know, are those that hear the message, will they be fertile soil? Will they instill the seeds of this discussion, the ideas about organization, the ideas about institution, the ideas of bringing groups and people together? Once we get off this call, will those ideas germinate within us? But in essence, you know, and this is what Garveyism, you know, is, you know, Garvey went around the country planting seeds and starting divisions, you know, and that's what we should be continuing to do. And that's why I wanted to stress where Garvey talked about the importance of institutions and how if we're not creating our own institutions, then we defer to the position of inferiority and we allow others to have the position of superiority. So now that we've heard these messages, how will we develop, you know, these messages within our own communities? That's the question. And can, you know, are we capable of developing these messages within our communities? But that's all I got. Two brothers been waiting very patiently. I think they are still on. Yes, they are. And I want to get to them. It is 7:30. Should be able to get out here in a few minutes. Baba James, I don't remember your number off the top of my head, but our colonel, division colonel for our African Legion here in Atlanta, Baba James. Greeting, Baba James. Baba James, you there?
Race first, family.
Race first.
I don't have too much to add to the member share. Just want to continue to remind all our members out there that Garvey Ideals Worldwide site is still available for our members to join, use, and find ways so that it may benefit them as UNIA members. I want to thank Brother Ross Marvin for letting us all, or reminding us of the commitment that it takes to maneuver in this current state of unity. And I gotta say, my whole inspiration for the Garvey Ideals World website had to do with me knowing Baba Ross Marvin for the past 10 years. And I go and managing that situation so that we can have something additional for our race to continue moving into the future. Race first.
Yes, sir. Race first. Thank you, Baba James. And again, Baba James doing an excellent job. I didn't put two and two together when he first brought up Garvey Ideals Worldwide, but in reading the lesson on institutions, you know, this is us and Baba James, you know, creating something for ourselves. You know, we feel that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that is inferior compared to what we can create for ourselves. So this is our attempt to do that and to create an alternative for our people. Thank you, Bob.
Race first.
Race first.
Yes, could you put that link in the chat, please, about the Garvey website?
Baba James, please.
Big up Baba James. And do we have a UNIA membership application on the Garveyites Worldwide website?
I think so. Baba James, you still there? Got them kids, got them children.
Oh, okay, but yeah, we definitely have to, because Garveyites Worldwide is established already. And
Yes.
it's been online for years. So it's already recognized by the Google search engines and everything.
Dr. Shams, let me pull it up and make sure I got it right before I put it in the chat. Garvey.
So that's a good foundation to build from.
Yes.
But it has to demonstrate unification. That means we're all represented, all of our people, even if they're not UNIA members, as long as they're doing for Black people, we push them, promote them and everything. And then when people come to the site, they're gonna automatically want to be part of it because they see a unification.
Yes. But Baba James also needs help managing the site. He can't do it all on his own. So again, this is just as always, call to action. We as Garveyites, we should be able to look out into the world, see where our people are lacking, see what our people need, and we step up to fill that void.
Race first.
Race first, Dr. Shams.
I have some knowledge. I'm not saying I have a thorough, complete knowledge, maybe beginner, intermediate, or something like that. But, I know a little bit about HTML and building a website. I would like to help the brother myself. Please raise first.
Thank you, Dr. Shams. We will keep that. We will contact you as soon as we get started on executing the plan and the team.
Any current members who would like to join the Garveyites Worldwide mission can send me a unique username along with your email address, and I'll give you a login and password so that you can chat with other members, add stuff to our calendar, participate in our market, and encourage us, motivate us in every way that it takes to continue this mission of race first priority.
Raise first. What is the information to get in contact with what you're saying, brother? I need the information to contact you somehow.
Yeah, Baba James, put your contact in the chat, and then we can communicate through chat. Through text.
All right, I've added my phone number in the chat along with the Garveyites Worldwide web address. So you
Dr.
can
Shams,
just
if you could
send
text
me a username that you'd like to use along with with your email address, and I'll get you a log on the password sent to you immediately.
Okay, and with that, we've got two more brothers that have not had a
I don't
chance.
want to hear.
Baba James?
Brother?
Did you say something?
No, I was speaking to the children. I apologize.
Okay.
Didn't
No
make it to mute in time.
No problem, you good. We'll go to our first vice president, UNIA member 390, and District 2 Commissioner, Brother Macias. Greetings, Brother Macias.
Race first, family. Greetings, everyone.
Race first.
Great discussion today. I'm really excited in the direction that I feel like the UNIA is going, ACL. Some respect. As I listen to the conversation, I really, I'm looking forward to a cashless society. A nation is known by its gross domestic product, what it produces. And I feel like because of getting access to the tools that we need to produce is now protected by the gatekeeper of the dollar, that we have kind of turned away from the thought that everything that's created is created by man. So the value of each other as the people that creates it is devalued because we have been duped into thinking that the dollar was the tool that evoked participation, which it really has been for so long. The vision that I see is that our aim be that tool that evokes participation in acquiring, cultivating, distributing, and protecting assets for our gross domestic product as a nation. And there are ways to share in the equity of all of the assets that we produce so that we can live the quality of life that we deserve. If we create it, then we can create the access to it. But as we get to the point where we're talking about institutions and self-reliance and self-initiative, I hope to evoke a vision of where the participation outweighs the fiat that right now is the tool that is even placed in relational terms like trust, bonds, promissory notes, consideration, contracts, contractions. These things were put in place to replace the relationship with each other. So as we remember who we are, what we're capable of, and that's to create everything for ourselves. If we gotta get there, we create the plane. If we gotta eat it, we gotta find the seeds. If we gotta wear it, we gotta make the clothes.
Yes,
Our
sir.
gross domestic product is what we have to focus on in 2023. And for me, that's every Black business. We have to highlight it as our gross domestic product as if it's ours, and let the world recognize that, because that is the metric that they recognize. What are we going to create? And so let's come together and commit ourselves to investing our interests. They have an interest rate which dictates how much we show interest in each other. Well, we have one aim, we have one destiny. So I'm interested in all y'all, and the rate of that interest is unlimited, and you can't put a number on it. So I'm here to assist all I can. If I haven't been as focused in the past, I'm excited to go forward to try to add value in every way that I can. And if we know what to do, so let's get it done in 2023.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Macias. Yeah, I like what you said in regards to production. I feel like here in Atlanta, we can do, there's a lot that we can do. I know that there's a lot that we can do because there's a lot that we're already doing. So we need to kind of organize this. Me, you, Brother Kenwardo, Baba James, we need to organize what we're doing and, make official programs for UNIA production. But I see Atlanta being a part of that vision. As we discussed yesterday, even if it's as simple as having our sewing machines running. I don't know what we're going to be putting together, but we should be production. I like that word, production. That's what before there was a fiat currency system, there was a barter system, but everything starts with products. We have to have something of value that others want. We have to be producing things of value that others want or others need. So excellent points, Brother Macias. And
I would even say entertainment is a production as well.
Okay. Yeah, true, very true. And we do that very well.
Yes.
But, I would say entertainment is not as much on the necessity side as, underwear and socks,
It's just a tool that's mostly used to distract our people. Yeah. So I feel like us taking ownership of that narrative, being the ones that's using entertainment for the purpose of pushing the vision. So we got to compete the same level offensively, like you said earlier, and that's the offensive tool right there. That you look at it like that, propaganda. Garvey talk about propaganda a lot, and he mastered it at his time.
Absolutely, yeah. And he was big in poetry, but that's just the hip hop of his time. But absolutely, you're absolutely right. One other brother, before Brother Omar, I know you're on conference line. I just wanted a brief announcement before I go to the last brother, but I should have did this earlier. It's the beginning of the year. At this time, this is a great time for all members to pay their dues up to make sure they're active throughout the year. I know that some people, well, a lot of people on the call, I'm preaching to the choir right now, may have paid dues, at some time throughout the year, for the year, and everybody's dues are still active. But for those that have not, this is a great time, beginning of the year, to pay your yearly dues, be paid up, have your contributions that you made. And even though Brother Macy's just said, we got to get away from our dependency on fiat, that is still a means of transaction that we utilize at this time. But he does have a valid point, because if we were in a situation where we had tasks that we could do, and where we could, put forth our labor and time and energy, that would be far more valuable than the monthly commitment. So, but that's up to us to develop those programs and develop those institutions, so that we can pull away from a reliance on currency. But as for right now, that's something that we use to exchange for things that we may need or things that we want to do. So just please pay your dues. I will put some information in the chat. I'll put the Cashapp and the PayPal link for those that do not have it. But that is my message for today. And it'll probably be a recurring message on most of our meetings until we reach our goal of 500 active members. But please pay your dues. And with that, we will go to, I believe it's our last brother online, UNIA member 2714 in East Cleveland, Ohio, Brother Omar Mukhtar. Greetings, Brother Omar. Oh, wait. I think I muted your line. 1 second, Omar. That's some background. Brother Omar, are you there?
Okay. Peace to the family. It's always a pleasure to talk to the family. It's always say prepare for peace in the time of war, prepare for war in the time of peace. Peace, family, we are at war. And sometimes we terms only take the call of some people, because we have to come into a realization that the war is real, whether we accept it, want it, or not. They will engage you if you don't engage them. I want to thank our brothers and sisters for being in the front line of the struggle. As we know, if we had not heard that Brother Najee Muhammad was arrested in Kentucky, and we were seeking to get justice for our brother Emmett Till. And it reminds me of what the first sister who always said, we need to do this, we need to do that, and they want to know what things certain ways. And I said, well, look, the Bible tells you to resist the devil, and he will flee from you. We have to understand sometimes that there can be a two-legged pale-faced white man, but you have to offer resistance. But us in our struggle very seldom offer any resistance, less resistance to our oppressor. So we're not resisting when we are submitting to the devil rule, way, life, and submitting to his world, Babylon. So we have to understand that if we want to be successful in this war, we have to always resist. So Brother Najee was picked up. And for those who didn't see the video is posted on the website. And on the internet and YouTube so we can go see it. But it's a couple of things you need to see. As the brother was being arrested after they were going after Carolyn Bryant, there was a news flash that came up. And just like with brother you can see propaganda, the psyop, the psychological warfare tactics that they were using to push the agenda of total submission of the Black nation. And we have to continue to push for the Black nation, pay for the Black nation, force into existence the Black nation if we truly desire to be from our country. So as we started to go through the process, the brother was picked up, sent to Ohio, as we know, he was extradited. So I got some of my legal people. And things come out of things when we work with our people, you'll be surprised of the good things you can do. So we got some of our legal people to come down, post bond for the brother. We coordinated with Brother Malik. We in the soul, we do these names and different things. Attorney Malik Jerusalem. So we coordinated to get Brother Najee when he got the think. They had to be arranged for this. This is just part of the foreign sales. And that's how you got to know the foreign sales still operating, whether we accept it or not. That's yourself, we can stop it. So the foreign sales flow is alive and well. So we working in real time. So we were able to get them all to make sure that we set up and this is what came out of it. I got a chance to talk to some attorneys and legal people, and we decided that we need to set up the National Legal Defense Fund. Just like the Jewish Defense League, they have a whole thing that's supposed to speak for them and their people or whatever. And we need the same thing among Black people. So I was able to talk to some attorneys during that time, and attorneys, you'll be surprised the fact that they were willing to participate. And I had a serious conversation with them. I said, you know that the white man, the devil is going to come after you. It's that a true statement. It's a true statement. You know that they will attack your job. They will go after your license. They will threaten your family. They will put you up on comfort charges. Revelation 2 and 10. The devil will throw you into prison. Okay. So we have to understand that even though we don't want to see it as being real, it's real. So we have to do this. But as it be, the people did decide that we would do that. So they will continue on their side to get more attorneys who are willing to organize us from state to state. We want to have attorneys in all 50 states to be able to respond anytime one of our people is on the front line and gets picked up by the police, the enemy, whatever you might say. And we have to be able to respond. We have to come to a realization that the NAACP have never been ours. League have never been anything, ACLU, even though they're good people, they're a group of white, different persuasion of people, but it's not an institution that Black people set up for themselves because they the only one who know how difficult legal challenges are. No other people can speak to the struggle of our legal challenges better than the Black man and woman. We had to struggle through all the racism, criticism, all the attempted murders. And as I spoke last time, we have over 20-some people who've been picked up in the Black movement. And we don't know that they've been picked up or charged or attempted assassination and outright assassinated. This is still going on in 2022 at the end of the year. So we have to make sure 2023 that we take a different approach to protect ourselves and our families. Every family should have a lawyer and a doctor, as they say. So we have to understand that they are not going to stop. They're trying to stop the rise of another nation coming up within a nation. And it reminds me of this book. It was called Andrew Hacker, a white guy, and it was called Two Nations, Separate, Hostile, and Unequal. And years ago, when I read that book, he actually showed the racism and black and white, where you cannot dispute that you are under siege. So we have to understand that regardless of what things we go through and everybody putting forth, we have to look out for our frontline people. And if I say that, we have to also remember that not out of the new Black Panther, something happened where they have a new Black Panther clothing line. So people who need in the struggle to go out on formations and different things, where now they can start to create an economic base where you can buy your uniforms and different things like that to move the race. And we have to really get like that because they're not going to change their agenda. So we have to be our agenda. So they are not going to stop their agenda. That's just all to it. Now we have to be able to get any people who are willing to work with function and setting up a national legal defense fund, and where we can put money and raise millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars. We don't know, because how long is the struggle going on? Because I'm sure that Satan is not going to give up. Satan is not going to stop. The dragon will continue to devour the children of God. So we have to continue to move forward. And also with our sister in the UK, let's not forget Dr. X, the sister who was shot in the head, who have two young boys, that she would not be able to see for us, but she's still in a coma. You know what I'm saying? So when we have people like this, now 2020, 2023, they'll start ozone state. So his first court date, I think, would be April the 19th, 2023. So now we are still in a situation where we still raising money, and just like with Grandmaster Jay, and we have to continue to put money on the book. They have relocated him with paying this location for a third time. So these are things that's going to come on. Well, what they trying to make us do is so that we do not love our own people. We do not love our own nation. We don't even consider ourselves a nation. When it's stronger for us to consider ourselves a nation, to make us more powerful than for us not to think like that. So shout out to the Nation of Islam, who's bringing all those forces together to show what a nation can look like. Now, if it can look like that as a nation, what would it be if we all came together and worked as a cohesive unit or collaborative or coalition? And we don't have to change what we're doing, but we also have to push as long as we black, because black is what we're targeting. And we have to understand that we have to continue to move. And one more thing before we finish it. Let's not continue our war in the city of East Cleveland. We were attempting to recall the mayor and the second person or councilman. We succeeded in recalling the council person who have betrayed to people. And anytime they betray the people, we must go after them. We have to understand when we deal with racism and white supremacy, we have to understand those are two things. Racism is when you deal direct with a different approach in nationality, culture, or person. Institutionalized racism or white supremacy is when they incorporate our own militant system to continue to push the white supremacy agenda, who also persecute us, not under the guise of racism, but under the guise of white supremacy. So white supremacy will use you if you black, brown, red, yellow, judge, police, doctor, lawyer, whatever. They will use you for the purpose of carrying out total oppression or wiping out or genocide of the black nation. So as I always say, prepare for peace in a time of war, prepare for war in a time of peace, free all our political prisoners. Brother Nigeria is out of jail, and let them go down to pick him up and take him to court so we can make his court date and start to deal with this nonsense. So any sisters or brothers who want to be a part, any lawyers that you may know who have kids, and as I told the other attorney on the phone, as long as they need, don't give me a phone. Because if they need tape, that ain't gonna be no good. And we have to be able not only to get the money, but we have to be able to suppress and secure. So our military is ongoing, if necessary. Until is not going anywhere. The black militia is not going anywhere. The Black Panthers is not going anywhere. The 160 gun sales are not going anywhere. And we have to continue to fight for our freedom, fight for our privilege. Peace to the family.
Race first, thank you, Brother Omar, for that detailed report. And yes, we must continue to support our political prisoners and continue to establish our institutions. Was there anyone else that did not get a chance to share before I say final comments? Everyone had a chance to share. Final comment. This is a little bit new. Just want to make it official in a mass meeting. I don't think I shared it. I did share it briefly in our executive meeting, but not in detail. For those that are on Zoom, you can see this document. It's from the Office of the Secretary General, Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Communities League, dated December 13th, 2022. It was addressed to me, Brother John, and our division 421. It states, the topic is appointment. States, dear Brother John, on behalf of the President General High Executive Council of UNIA and ACL government, we welcome you as Commissioner of District 5. Your continued work and dedication will help in the strengthening and upliftment of our race. The High Executive Council is grateful that you are willing to share your time and talents. We look forward to a fulfilling and mutually beneficial relationship. Commissioner and division presidents meet first Wednesday of every month via Zoom. Y'all are already aware of that. But this is officially my appointment as Commissioner of District 5. District 5 consists of Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. So I'm wearing two hats right now. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I did have a couple directives that I wanted to give as in my new role. Y'all know I'm not, I'm not big on having y'all do a whole bunch of stuff. So as president, my directives were attend the meetings, which everyone is doing, and pay your dues. If we do that, those two things, we will be a lot farther. We can go a lot farther and a lot quicker than a lot of us realize. But if we had 100, 200 people attending regular meetings, paying dues on a regular basis, we would be a lot more that's probably a bad thing to say, be focused, but we would at least have more labor and more support to execute the plans that we have. So those are still the two directives that everyone has. It's the beginning of the year. I want to make sure that's clear. But as district commissioner, I'm asking everyone, two things just came to my mind. One, from the lessons of today, Emancipation Day, I'm asking, or what's the word, Baba James? Ordering the members to acknowledge our sacred holidays. So what those days are, we still need to kind of define them clearly as a collective, but as of right now, it's up to you. But I would put Emancipation Day in there, Malcolm X Day, Martin Luther King, Khalid Muhammad's birthday, obviously Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey's birthday today, Noble Drew Ali's birthday, Kwanzaa, International African Independence Day, Juneteenth. We need to be better about collectively acknowledging these days and holding these days sacred. So I know we already kind of do that, but moving forward, I want us to be a little more collective and make it an official part of UNIA celebrations. And then two, another directive to everyone is institutions. Everywhere we are, we all should be promoting institutions. And an institution does not have to be a building where you pay rent and all that stuff and have people come in. Institution is just a group of people that choose to develop or progress along a certain line of development. An example that I use is the institution of slavery. There's no building that you can go to say that this is the institution of slavery, but it was a collective mindset of individuals that created an institution. So we should be developing our communities wherever we are, whether that's economic institutions, educational institutions, political institutions, charitable institutions. We have a lot of options, but if we are not actively working to change the mindsets and behaviors of our people, in essence, by deference, by deferring, we are considering their systems superior. There's a legal term. It says silence implies consent. So it's like if white people came out and said, I have this school that I built for you. What do you think about it? If you don't openly declare discontent, then silence implies that you are content. And I believe, that's where we have been as a people. That's how we've been regarded as a people, is, a group of people that have to be told exactly what to do because we can't do anything for ourselves. So this year, I'm making a declaration. I'm making a call to everyone that can hear my voice and all of the members of Division 421. We need to be establishing institutions. All of us have expertise. We're all good at something. So we should, in our lives, somewhere in our lives, have a record of institutions and trying to develop the mindset of our people and the next generation. So those are the two things that I'm calling for as district commissioner of District 5. Questions, comments before we move to close?
Yeah, peace, Brother John.
Omar?
Also, there's an invite. Yeah, sorry, brother. Also, there's an invite for anybody. We're looking for attorneys all over the United States. So we're looking for legal counsel all over the United States. We're looking for any type of paralegals all over the United States. Also, what they call anywhere in the United States. So anybody, any city, any state within these 50 states, we're looking for anybody in your particular city, whichever city you're in, whatever state you're in, to also recommend someone, send someone. My number is free to be given to anyone who wants to talk about it and have a Zoom meeting and different things. We're not first National Legal Defense Council Committee. These sort of things.
Thank you, Brother Omar. I will share your contact with the Zoom line. Anyone else? Closing comments? Okay. Well, thank you, brothers. A sister got off earlier. Your attendance is appreciated and noticed. This is important. As Brother Sean said, we kind of talk about these same things over and over and over. But part of that reason is because everyone doesn't come to the table. And I appreciate everyone that's here. That lets me know that you understand the seriousness of Black nationality. You understand that this is a not even a year-long process, but a lifelong process. So this is not something that we can wait until we're comfortable to do. We're not fair weather warriors. This is a day in, day out, rain, sleet, or snow. That's the type of people that we have in these movements right now. So I appreciate everyone's time. And I'm going to pull up Brother Omar's phone number. And while I do that, Baba James, if you would, could you prepare to close us out? Brother Baba James, you there? Brother Omar, are you still 216-322-0811?
216-333-4314. That is our business location number. That's our office location number. And they can reach you at that number.
Okay.
If they cannot reach you at that number, then they can use that number.
Okay, we'll start with, I'll share the 216-333-4314. We'll start there.
Oh, okay, 4314.
Yes, 216-333-4314. Okay. All right, thank you, brothers and sisters. Brother Baba James, you there?
Let me close the President John.
Thank you, First Vice President, Brother Mason, if you would, please.
All right. Put your black right fist in the air. One God.
One God.
One aim.
One aim.
One destiny.
One
destiny. Africa.
Africa.
For the Africans.
For the Africans.
Those at home.
Those at home.
And those abroad.
And those abroad. And remember, we're already in Africa. I met some Africa right here, right now.
Raise first, family.
Yes, sir.
Hey, let me know when you want to get the YouTube of this meeting on YouTube if you're gonna put it there. Let me know when it's ready.
Yes, sir. It'll probably be a week or so. I still got a couple old videos I need to go through, but I'll do that.
All right, raise first.
And yeah, shameless plug. Please, everybody, go to our YouTube page, Division 421, UNIA-ACL Division 421 on YouTube. Check out our videos. Go through all of our videos and like each and every video, just for support. And if you really have some time and some bandwidths and some computer or phone power, either watch the videos or just have them playing in the background. That helps as well to promote and share the content. But thank you, Dr. Shams, for that reminder. And if you could, please, everybody, support our YouTube. Even though YouTube's not ours, the information is still a form of our institution. And we want to share these ideologies, this mindset, these discussions. That's one of the sites where a lot of our people are. So until we can develop our own, we will use their site to try to pull our people out, if that makes sense. But thank you, brothers and sisters. We'll close out and we will talk again. We have our next meeting on the 8th, 20th, 22nd. So we will see each other again on the 22nd of this month. Until then, race first.
Race first. Peace to
the family. Peace.
Peace. Race first. Sure.